It was 44.7 million players online
Millions and millions of people playing the game.
in one day.
We showed our dad and
He got a little upset about that.
quite offended that people weren't watching football. I was like, no. People got football on, and then they're playing the game as well. So,
Whoa!
whoa,
Is it episode 10?
bro, double digits. We made it. Now it's about time to hop into game talk.
Oh my god. I love game talk, dude. Holy
I
shit.
love it. Guys, we actually have a lot to talk about in Game Talk. Some interesting times, pure nostalgia is going to fuel Game Talk this week. The Fortnite Battle Royale experience dropped the OG Fortnite map. It's not technically the OG map that me and Jake first started on, but it's still got Loot Lake, it's got Tilted Towers, Snobby Shores. I mean, we're going to Wailing Woods, whatever.
Most of the original things are there. It's
yeah.
a good time. And I mean, the water makes you not be able to run fast. It's like it's got a lot of elements of the old one. It brings you back.
But it's pretty simplistic, and like it just shows you don't need to have all these things to make the game great. Like Fortnite was already good before the season. Like we were still playing it a little bit. But it's fun to go back and just like there's only a few weapons and like things are super rare. Like there's not these like POIs where you can get an overpowered weapon. We're getting into it over here, by the way. I'm saying POIs and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be honest. If they're watching Game Talk, they probably know about the new season because it was 44.7 million players online with over 102 million hours of play in one day on Saturday.
Millions and millions of people playing the game. It's back. We showed our dad, and he was quite offended that people weren't watching football. I was like, no.
Yeah.
People got football on, and then they're playing the game as well. So,
yeah, he got a little upset about that.
we got some fun dubs. We'll throw some clips in here.
I know it looks sick, dude.
It's happening.
It looks sick.
Yeah, this would happen. This would happen right before the show.
Jake, they rift. Get in the rift. Get in the rift right here.
I'm trying to deploy. I don't know. Oh my god. Let him fight. Let him know.
And then I got to win. Dude, I'm really bad at building, guys. I'm going to be honest. I kind of tend to stick to the no build, but I did hop in some build lobbies, and I did get a dub with Brad in a duo. I won this gunfight that I should not have won.
I want to let you guys know Tye is not good at Fortnite, but we will talk about it because it is important.
I am good at Fortnite. You guys will see with the clips.
I'm going to be honest, I was not an OG Fortnite. Even when everybody was playing it, I was playing Battlefield 1. I was getting athletic over there. I never really was a Fortnite guy, but it's cool to get back on there. We got some buddies that play it, so we're in there. We're getting involved.
I'm like an OG Fortnite guy to where I played when like no one knew how to build. Like maybe you'd throw up a wall every once in a while, but like that's it. I never got into the cranking 90s and all that like Chase does. Chase kind of shit on the guys in this one lobby we were in, and he got pretty pumped about it. I think they're learning a lot of things at Epic Games to kind of dive back into this nostalgia. And they're bringing back the old players. They have the new players.
I'm hoping this showcase of nostalgia being a good thing for getting players to play gets those Call of Duty guys to try to bring back Verdansk potentially.
I hope it trickles on over.
Which is a good segue. Yes. Modern Warfare 3's campaign had Verdansk involved in it. Spoiler, sorry about it. But it is important. It's a 4-hour playthrough, so I might as well tell you.
It was
it's
pretty
not even
quick.
It's not even worth your time, to be quite honest. We did find out about a few things through that. Tye, do you want to talk about some guns and some movement potential things?
Well, I just wanted to touch on the campaign first, like you were saying.
Yeah, sure.
These guys know, the developers know where their money needs to be spent and like where the people were playing. Like we used to play the campaign back in the day, and that's all we thought the game was. Back on Black Ops 2 and things like that. Like we just played the campaign and then never touched it again.
Shameful.
Which is so sad. That's like we missed out on some great times. But speaking of great times, I'm pretty optimistic for this year. There is some exciting weapons. In the beta, we didn't have a sniper, like a bolt action sniper. That's what me and Jake like to get active with. It's a heavy hitting sniper. It takes skill to use. We're gonna get the Cat AMR sniper at launch. That should be fun.
We throw up a picture. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty. Yeah.
It looks, yeah. Kind of looks like the Fortnite sniper. I might add. No, it doesn't. And then the knife movement in the campaign we were playing, you got to hold a knife. You couldn't play with a knife in the beta either. Dude, the movement is insane with the knife. You can absolutely move across the map. So that'll be great for search and destroy, getting to like where you need to get to. And then they're also adding a karambit, which is a different kind of knife. We'll see how that plays. Maybe it'll take 2 hits to kill someone. But that'll be a cool inspect animation, little like kind of slinging around, like kind of like a fidget.
If you didn't know, the karambit is very famous in Counter-Strike. And it's cool to see it implemented into Modern Warfare.
Yo, kom igen! Någonting bro! Åh, det är karambit! Oh my god!
Yep. All right, now I'm going to get into some negatives coming up, just like pre-release. If you guys are seeing this, the game's coming out in a couple of days. I will be active on Friday. But there's kind of like an overwhelming amount of equipment. There's a lot of options. That's good that they have like all this equipment, but there's just going to be so many different things you can do. But it might be good because you can customize it to your play style. But I feel like I'm going to be watching a lot of JGOD videos, a lot of pro guys kind of figuring out exclusive ace, trying to figure out what the meta is and like the best things to run in that space, just equipment wise. And then one thing equipment wise as well, there's silence boots in the game, so you can run around with silence boots on, but then like it also like doesn't give you the ability to run the other boots to like make you slide cancel better and things like that. But dead silence will also be an upgrade, so like you can either like choose that path or choose the other path.
That's not a bad thing though. I think it's a nice way to like spice it up.
No, that is a good thing.
From what I've looked at, like it seems like there's only like 3 really good items per like gear when we're talking about the vest and the shoes. Like there's only like 3 really good options out of like the 6 that they have available. So it'll be fun to kind of like play around with that. I'm not even gonna try to. I mean, I'll probably look at the metas and see what everybody else is doing, but it's not too hard to figure out what the best is. And
I think it'll be pretty
I don't mind. I don't mind trying to find what the best thing is to do.
And then you'll start dying to some stuff, and then you'll be like, "How the hell did he do that?" And then you'll like be like, "Oh, he has this on in the kill cam." So, it's kind of gonna be trial and error. And then the camos, bro. There's gonna be 834 base camos in the game. That's like kind of going off of Modern Warfare 2's kind of style, where there's like 5 camos per weapon. And then it also includes all the Modern Warfare 2 camos too.
Does it have their camos?
So there's only 278 camos for the new game, like new camos, and then there's 800, or there's the other part of the 834 is from Modern Warfare 2. I just want a new game. We like clean slates. I mean, Fortnite does a good job like keeping it fresh and things like that, but like Call of Duty over the years, like it's kind of nice to get a new game. Like as soon as we get in there, like even the operator skins are going to be like sweaty off the bat. Like no one's going to have like the default skins because you can run the old skins.
Yeah. There's super weird. Reactive. There's a super reactive camo that came out during the Halloween weekend. And Tye and I weren't playing because it's not fun to play Modern Warfare 2. So hopefully other people in the same boat as us, and they come in dry, and there's like a gentleman's agreement that nobody's going to be running of the things that were in the past game. But that would suck to like see people with that cool reactive camo already in a new game, like day one release. Like you got to earn cool shit in new games. Like I don't know.
That's what makes the game fun, is like earning new stuff. Even the weapons carry over as well, which is interesting. But I think they're making adjustments to all those weapons, and there's no tuning in the game, which is a big step as well, just for the weapons. basically, guys, we're really pumped about this game. We'll keep you guys updated throughout. Major weekend coming up, so we'll have some more ideas next Monday and possibly a special guest. That is not 100% confirmed, but very possible.
Let's say one positive thing that we're looking forward to for this new Call of Duty.
I'm just gonna hit you with it. The movement. That's what I'm most excited about. I miss being aggressive. I like hitting 360s. I like throwing knives across the map, things like that. And like the thing that makes Call of Duty fun, like compared to like a CS2 or things like that, is just like outplayability. Like CS2, you have to hit your shots, but like you can outplay someone. There's no better feeling than like just like putting the movement on somebody and like getting a kill. So I'm excited for the movement aspect being back in the game, and search and destroy with the boys on all those maps. It's gonna be a great time. I'm so pumped.
I mean, we don't have to bury CS2 in the process of complimenting. Game, but
I'm just saying.
I mean, Counter-Strike's a great game within itself. It's tactical kind of and it's fun. Okay, I don't want to hear it.
Sorry about it. I said it. I said what I said.
I'm looking forward to just kind of search and destroy in general, and then I'm not looking forward to the grind of trying to get like all the attachments done again. But I'm excited to try to find what works best for me in the new game. And yeah, bee hopping and stuff like that. Hopefully it's implemented by
I don't know
release time. I don't know if it is. Yeah, I don't know.
That would be ideal.
I am very
at bee hopping.
I don't have very high expectations for this one, to be honest. So hopefully it's better than I expected to be. I just wanted to shout out Black Ops 3. It was, I think, 8 years ago today, as the filming of this video, that it released, and that game was awesome, and it had jetpacks and stuff, and people didn't like it at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best of all time. So just want to shout that one out.
Pretty hot take out of you.
Black Ops 3 being the best game of all time, potentially.
Yeah,
it's definitely up there. I mean, personally, it's just a personal thing.
Yeah, so. You said it. Yeah, that's cool.
Counter-Strike 2. They did introduce new maps for people to start creating maps for the new game, so that's exciting.
Boom. All right, that's what you're worried about. That's good.
Resolve the issue that I wanted. Happy about it.
Just some new technology. In the Game Talks section, we like to also dive into some new technology that's going on. Sometimes VR, which is insane currently. You can play like Minecraft in your backyard with this VR thing now. And like you can be like editing and then like look right here and you're like courtside at a basketball game. So there's just
it's okay. So
really
it's like
cool things.
Let's try to describe that better. It's like a split screen, but one side is like your AR, which is like your desktop and stuff.
I'm editing everything.
But then you can turn your screen turn your head to the left, and then you plug into like a game or anything like that. So I
just got the game on right here. I'm courtside right here watching Wimby get active.
So you're being like extra productive with your like Iron Man capabilities on this side, but then you're also able to multitask and watch the big game. It's pretty sweet. I thought that was pretty cool. I saw that.
Jake, I don't know if you saw this thing. So I've always been big on ChatGPT. I've been an advocate for a long time. This Grok thing that Elon Musk announced, it looks insane because it's the one knock on ChatGPT is like it's only like current events like prior to 2021. So, but like Elon Musk tweeted this thing out, and he's like, "Tell me what Joe Rogan was wearing during his latest interview." And it's like Joe Rogan was interviewing Elon Musk, and he was wearing a blonde wig like for like a Halloween special. Like this thing knows, bro, which is kind of scary.
That is scary.
I wonder if we can ask it about what happened on Streit Talk last week, and I wonder if they could tell us, but I doubt it.
And he said it's going to improve greatly in a month. Like it's going to be a really cool thing.
But Jake, what would you do if you had access to it right now? I know we have access to ChatGPT, but with this new capabilities, what would you do?
I don't know. I'd just mess around with it and see how current the current events will be and how like tapped in it would be.
That's a good call. Yeah, I'd kind of test the boundaries of that thing. That's what I was doing with ChatGPT early on. Just kind of like seeing what it can do. But this Grok thing looks like a weapon, so we'll keep you updated with that if that seems to eclipse OpenAI and ChatGPT. So we'll see.
Let's get into some college football talk. We're not going to waste any time.
Well, first, let's talk about where we went this weekend. We went to Alabama. There was game day there for the LSU game. We were there briefly, just kind of walking around, having a good time. What was the guest picker's name? He was just on SNL, Nate Bargatze. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. He's from Nashville too. Shout out Nashville. Hey, on SNL though, he was funny. He was playing George Washington, and that was a funny sequence. And then there's also another clip they did on the lake beach. They were singing a song, and that was fun to see on there too. Yeah, I'm glad SNL was back in full force as well. So the kick, bro, we were there for that. Interesting attempt, to say the least.
Have you ever kicked a ball before?
No, never.
For $80,000.
Whatever you're putting in, I'm going to double.
$160,000. Not bad. Bad hole. It was a bad hole. Terrible hole. It was a terrible hole. Terrible.
Yeah, I think the pressure got to her a little bit. That was a big moment. You could see she was trembling a little bit. She was up there. Yeah. She was...
Bro, fans were fired up for that one.
You don't realize how far the kick is until you're standing there and you're like, yeah, I probably couldn't make that myself.
I couldn't even make, yeah, dude. That's what I was thinking. Hey, if you slow that thing down and zoom in on Dad's face, like mid-kick, it's hilarious.
He took dodge like that thing was coming for his head. Yeah.
I know.
She gave it all she got. That's the truth.
After game day, right after, we went straight on the plane and got out to LA, which was pretty cool. We ended up being in 3 different time zones just on Saturday because we ended up back in Ohio after that game. But first, that game, got to walk around, see Caleb Williams. It was cool to see that on the field just pregame. Washington obviously prevailed. Great game. Got some cool shots on the field.
Yeah, Penix balled out. That was super fun to watch. And it's so cool being out in USC, but there's a different vibe out there of the football games, and Tye and I.
Yeah, bro.
We hadn't been out there in a while, so it was cool to kind of experience it. And I mean, it's kind of just like a casual social hour out there. And we got some cool videos out there.
Yeah, the football game just happens to be going on. People were having a good time, kind of strolling into the game. It ended up filling up a little bit by the fourth quarter, but like 20 minutes out from the game, I'm like, I mean, half the stands are not full right now. That fan base is very interesting. It's different than everywhere else in the country. Like Big Ten, SEC, I mean, you got the crazy fans. But USC, Washington, shootout. I mean, slinging that thing on both sides. Penix and Caleb, it was kind of like a head-to-head battle. Who was going to have the ball last? USC went down a little bit. I mean, it feels like their defense was non-existent. Washington was carving them up the whole game.
And that's reflected by the defensive coordinator being fired post-game. And
yeah, the Grinch got fired immediately after that game. So
yeah,
it makes sense. Yeah.
Shout out Dylan Johnson, 4 touchdowns by himself. Washington running back, he balled out. It was super fun to watch him dominate.
Yeah, bro, he was a dog, bro. He was moving, bro.
Yeah. Both those offenses had like so many skill guys. I couldn't even keep track of everybody, but that's one guy that stood out to me.
Yeah, and then Taj Washington on USC, I know they lost. Number 16, the receiver. He was making a lot of plays. If it was third down, you were looking his way. He made a lot of plays, but they just couldn't capitalize towards the end of the game. Speaking of being out there in LA, we made the trip. Our dog, Benjamin Franklin, Ben, the dog, did not make the trip, sadly. We were kind of looking forward to it. I know we've had this feud a little bit. He's like the favorite, and he gets to travel. We replaced him this weekend. So.
Well, our dad said that everybody was going to make the trip. So we were like, I thought we were going to make a truce with Ben. And then he called an audible last second. He was like, yeah, I think we'll keep him home because it's too much travel for one day for the pup. So, yeah. Kept him back. We did it ourselves, and I think we did a pretty good job without him.
LSU, Bama, what a time. That was. I mean, we had that one on. Caught a little bit of that game. Bro, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Milroe. I mean, these guys, if you go onto the ESPN app, they have, like, the passing leaders and the rushing leaders, receiving leaders. both the quarterbacks had the passing and running top of the team. So, bro.
Yeah.
And if you look right here, let's just list off some stats out of these guys. Jaden Daniels, 15 for 24, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had interception in there. But then he also had 11 carries for 163 yards and a tutty. And then on the other side of the field, you have Jalen Milroe, who might be my freak of the week. 15 for 23, 219 yards passing, and 20 carries for 155 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah. These guys make
Dude.
football fun to watch. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Having that dual threat ability is just like these guys. Honestly, I think Milroe is just a dedicated running back at this point.
He is. Who happens to throw? Yeah.
And he's just really good at running too. Like I'm not even mad about it, but like when he just lowers his shoulder on the guys and he's like letting them know, it's fun to watch.
Jaden Daniels got banged up a little bit towards the end of the game. Got absolutely slammed by a guy. Like,
I mean,
head in the.
I'm gonna be
head in the
honest.
ground.
It was a matter of time. This guy Daniels takes hits every week, and we talk about it all the time. He just gets buried. I don't know if
Dude
like
runs
he's
high.
so quick.
Yeah.
I told Tye, I was like, I think you should add some pounds on, like before he got hurt, and then he ends up getting hurt. But like, I don't know. He's got the quickness, so maybe he has an argument to keep it the same. But like, yeah, he's got to learn to slide because he's not doing the same thing that Milroe's doing to people when he's running them over.
Ohio State early in the day was struggling with Rutgers, which is like kind of crazy. Like they're the number 1 team in the nation. Like what are we doing here?
I mean, I don't think they are, but yeah, they ended up being put number 1, and then they go out and almost lose to Rutgers in the first half. They ended up covering the second half, looking pretty good, but yeah, it's not what you want to see out of a number 1 team. And the teams behind them are feeling a little, offended that they were put ahead of them.
Well, at least they pulled it out. That would have been embarrassing for the committee if Rutgers beat Ohio State after that. That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But they ended up pulling away pretty handily.
I was pulling for Rutgers. I was like, if you're gonna keep it this close, you might as well beat us. So
Yeah,
like,
do
I
you
was
mind?
like, yeah, no, I'm like first half, I'm like, come on. Like, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like when I got disconnected from Ohio State when I went to Clemson, I see Ohio State from the outside in now, and I kind of like, I get super petty as a fan. I don't know why. But, yeah, so Rutgers gave it their all. I respect it. The fumble Ruski was an awesome play. I thought that was sick. But that was like the only big play that they had all game.
Clemson beat Notre Dame. Shout out the alma mater of mine. I got my degree right over here. I mean, I was happy for the boys. And shout out Hamp Green. He had a lot of punt return yards. That's my boy. Wide receiver group right there. It was an ugly dub, but it was a dub, to say the least. And I'm happy for Cade and those guys. Defense balled out. Clemson's defense is great. They got XT off the edge. Barrett Carter, Jeremiah Trotter, both linebackers. And then the secondary's pretty fast. They got AJ Terrell's younger brother on the team now. I've been like seeing him making plays since high school. So yeah, Clemson's defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. Just got to lock in that offense and they'll be all right. They got some big ones coming up, North Carolina and South Carolina towards the end of the year. So if they win
let's
those,
not jump
then,
past this one. Let's not jump past this one too quick. Notre Dame is a good team.
Oh yeah,
and that
they
was a
salvaged
big
their
win
season.
for them.
Yeah,
they needed
big.
that one definitely. Like Coach Sweeney's so pumped about that one.
And I know we're down and everybody's throwing dirt on us, but if Clemson's a stock, you better buy all you freaking can buy right now.
buy all the stocks, like he was saying. Buy all the
stock. One thing I'd like to say, Sam Hartman, he is like 0-6, I think, against Clemson in his all-time career.
Yeah, that's a good stat right there.
That's a stat to kind of know going into draft season. You want to find a guy who knows how to win. He seems like a good leader, but yeah, Clemson has his number.
One thing I want to talk about is our Heisman predictions. Who are you thinking at this point in the season? I mean, Caleb Williams, who won it last year, just got pretty much knocked out. I think Penix like steps above him right there. I think Caleb's a better player, but you got to win the Heisman. So
yeah, definitely got to win. Penix is a guy. He just stands out. He just beat USC head-to-head against another competitor for that trophy. And you guys are probably curious why the hell we care about the Heisman so much. We grew up on it, and we went to the Heisman finalist
Been a couple times.
things in New York growing up. So it has a special place in our heart. I'd say it's up there with like the Rose Bowl and everything. I think Marvin Harrison has, like, just because of how dominant he is at the position, it just seems like he is a guy.
Man.
Yeah, and that'd be really cool to get an out of position guy.
Bro, if they keep winning, he's got a shot.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would hope so. Yeah, Drake May was a guy, but I don't know if their team's good enough. And then so Penix and Marvin Harrison are the two front runners for me.
I also think Bo Nix is a dog. I think he's a great player. I know they lost to Washington on like a last-second field goal, but I think they'll catch a rematch in the Pac-12 championship, and I think Oregon's a better team.
That's a great call. I know. Well, you remember, I picked Oregon in the head-to-head Oregon-Washington, and I'm still a big fan of
fire, bro.
Yeah, I like Bo Nix as well. I forgot about him when we were talking.
If you take a look at on threes predictions, they got Jaden Daniels won, who we were talking about earlier, because he
definitely carries the squad
and running it.
Yeah,
he definitely carries. He's got neighbors to help him out a little bit. Then we got Bo Nix tied for second. Penix Jr. we talked about. Marvin Harrison sitting at 4 on there for you, Jake.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone else is really that relevant. To be honest, I think those are kind of like the top 5 right there, or top 4.
Jordan Travis might be a guy too from Florida State.
Yeah, he can make plays. He's really similar build to Jaden Daniels, kind of making plays like that. Game day next week, it's gonna be a fun one. Ole Miss, who beat Texas A&M, went down to the wire. I like Jackson Dart. I think he's like a good player, and he fits Lane Kiffin's offense well. And they're like buddies, bro. They like hang out.
He's always been like that with his players, though. I feel like he's always trying to be like one of the guys, you know?
It's an interesting relationship. But game day's in Athens. That'll be a good time. I think Jake's going to be there. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it this week, but Jake's going to hold down for it.
Call of Duty.
Let us know. Jeez.
All right, joining us now, you guys may know him as the authority of college football, but to us, it's just Pete. Pete, welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you on Streit Talk. Let's talk some ball.
It's an honor to be here, Jake and Tye. I appreciate seeing you guys not in like a strange, far-flung college town.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is nice. Thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here.
We know you've been very busy this past week or so talking about Michigan developing news. I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring this one up. I know the drums and beat to death, but is there any updates there? We know Stallions got fired, and the Big Ten was talking about maybe bringing out some punishments. So what are the newest things there?
Yeah, well, Tye, you obviously learned well in school to lead with the headline, right? So we're not going to be talking about not talking about South Dakota School of the Mines here, right? So no, the biggest story in college football right now, guys, is the story hovering over the University of Michigan, and they obviously have a top 15 matchup with Penn State this weekend in State College, and the status and fate of Jim Harbaugh in terms of the Big Ten and their sportsmanship policy is in flux right now, and it's the biggest story lingering over the sport. I reported this morning that now we're talking on Monday here, just for podcast listeners. Yep. Obviously, that can be a little bit fluid. So the middle of this week, the week headed into Penn State, Michigan, is the earliest that we're expected to hear anything from the Big Ten regarding Michigan. As we've reported all along, the expected punishment in this case under the Big Ten sportsmanship policy, which is separate than the NCAA investigation, would be some type of suspension for Jim Harbaugh. Now, that is not a certainty. If that is going to happen, what length that would be would likely be meted out after Wednesday. And so, again, this is not a certainty it's going to happen. And I was also told that if Jim Harbaugh is suspended by the Big Ten under the sportsmanship policy, that his side is preparing for some sort of legal rebuttal. So in a lot of ways, guys, stepping back and looking at this from 30,000 feet, this story could just be starting. Again, it was about 3 weeks ago that the NCAA investigation into Michigan and the alleged sign stealing probe began. A few days after that, we identified Connor Stallions as the heart of it. He was suspended. A couple weeks later, he's fired now. And this story has not slowed down since the start of it. And obviously the backdrop goes without saying. Michigan is really good. This is the best chance Michigan has had to win a national title in the last quarter century. Right. So the stakes are high. The attention has the entire sport riveted, and there's a layer of ambiguity about next steps.
Yeah, this absolutely. Is gonna play into their ability to focus on Penn State for sure, and Ohio State coming up. It's an interesting situation, and I was curious about what are the facts right now. What have we found out to be true, and what's all speculation?
So here's what we know, and here's what we've reported. And here's what the NCAA is looking into that I know with certainty is that Connor Stalions was allegedly the operator of a wide-scale scouting operation and sign stealing and signal stealing operation. We've reported it spent 35 different games at least 17 different stadiums, from the SEC title game to the West Coast to the SEC to the ACC. So 12 of 13 potential Big Ten opponents have noted that Connor Stalions has bought tickets to their stadium. Multiple places in that list have on video the seat that Stalions purchased the ticket to, the person in that seat taping the opposite sideline electronically. So, and then obviously there was what happened at Central Michigan. They released a statement today saying that the NCAA is part of that investigation as to whether or not Connor Stalions was on the Central Michigan sideline for their Friday night opening game against Michigan State. So that is as much as we know about the general purview of what's being looked into by the NCAA. Now, there could be a lot that we don't know, but for now, it's basically, what did Michigan do that's against NCAA rules? And the two rules that appear to be in flux here are the opponent scouting rule, which has been in the rule book since 1994, and you cannot go to another team's stadium and scout their games. And then the electronic capturing of signals rule, which is in the NCAA handbook. Both of these appear to have been violated in this alleged scheme by Stout.
I feel like he's like the perpetrator, like he's the one on the sideline, allegedly. But he could just be a scapegoat. Like, there's definitely has to be some kind of bigger scheme going on. Just kind of adding the speculation there. And for hardball, like, how do you punish a coach? Like, can he not talk to his team? Like, is he not on the sideline during the games? Like, how does that work?
So, Tye, to answer your first question, going forward, I think there's two things that still need to be meted out here. An NCAA investigation is going to take months. I would be surprised if a year from today, we're sitting here in early November and the NCAA investigation is actually completed. Just looking at the pace of how NCAA investigations have gone throughout my career, they go slowly. I thought Pat McAfee made a good joke / observation on Saturday that, the NCAA will get to the bottom to it in 2030. That's obviously a bit hyperbolic, but a good joke is a good joke for a reason. It spoke to the heart of what he was poking fun at. So going forward, who paid for this operation to happen? Connor Stalions made $55,000 a year. There were obviously, more than $10,000 in tickets, flights, etc., all purchased. So how was this funded? I think is a really big question moving forward. And then what did Jim Harbaugh and the coaching staff know? And did they know the extent of this operation? And I think that's those are hard things to figure out, right? Like, there's not hey, it's not like Jim Harbaugh said, hey, Connor, go to Purdue on, October 5th and then go to East Lansing on the 7th. Like, it wouldn't be that linear. So sort of diving into that, and look, Harbaugh, in the purpose of full fairness here, has denied any knowledge of any illegal sign stealing operation. And Connor Stalions said in his statement to The Athletic that Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan coaching staff did not know of any improper activity. So everybody has decided to pick their camps and pick their sides in this. And then pushing forward, sifting through that is with empathy, the NCAA and the job they have to do is going to be tricky, because the people who would know the most are going to be the least motivated people to talk.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Let's shift gears out here. Let's shift gears.
Let's shift gears.
Thank you for that.
That's
was
serious
great
stuff. We're headed to Athens next week. I'll be joining you. You excited about that
awesome.
matchup? And what are you looking forward to with that one?
Well, I feel like Georgia got their first strong test against Missouri this week. And they obviously played a close game at Auburn about a month ago down there. And we learned a little bit about them. And now we learned a little bit about them without Brock Bowers, right? And to me, the Georgia offense has been impressive. Marius Mims, their really good tackle, has been hurt for a while. We'll see if he comes back on Saturday. That's going to be obviously a big, a big part of that game because he's really the driver of that Georgia ground game. And Georgia's endured a bunch of injuries. But so far, with all the pressure of the winning streak and the back-to-back titles, Georgia has aced every test, and Georgia has gone past every piece of adversity. This is the most explosive offense that they have seen this year and likely that they will see this year. So for all those defensive guys who've replaced that exodus they've had to the NFL for the last 2 years, this is your test. This is your time to step up and be that next great Georgia defense. And obviously the Ole Miss offense, the way Lane calls it, and the aggression that goes into that Ole Miss offense is gonna prove to be a really, really compelling test for Georgia as it pushes on. And then they get to wake up and go to Knoxville the next week for another test if they pass this one with Ole Miss. And that's another speed tempo. Now this Tennessee team is more ground based than past years. Obviously last year they were very aerial based and shot based. So it will be interesting to see the next 2 weeks how Georgia responds to two tempo offenses that look very different.
Sticking with those top teams, the committee had Ohio State as number 1 last week during the Tuesday rankings, like first show. That was pretty surprising. I feel like there was a little bit of outcry over that. And then even Saturday, they struggled early on against Rutgers. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts, like what they're going to choose tomorrow. We're filming this on Monday, so like maybe a little prediction or if anything's going to switch up Tuesday.
So it's always hard to say. I don't get too emotionally invested in the early rankings, right? Because a lot of them play themselves out. Now, the final 2 weeks or so, you really stay dialed in because you have to see where people are positioned. But it's almost like they do the early ranking shows. So they find out the reasonings behind people being ranked in different places, and then they use it against the committee for the end of the ranking shows, right? Like, strength of schedule is valued, and then at the end you're like, wait, I thought you valued strength of schedule, and then it sort of goes. It's sort of an awkward, protracted process. It's really unique, like anything else in sports, but good theater, and it's a lot of fun to talk about. Ohio State had a road conference game. They played pretty sloggy in the first half. They had that weird fake punt that didn't seem like it should have been a fake punt, and got kind of behind the chains, and we're just sort of sputtering. Along there, and their run defense, quite frankly, might be the biggest concern for them coming out of that game. Rutgers kind of had their way up front. Rutgers does not have an elite offensive line. They have good backs, and Ohio State just seemed to have a difficult time stopping the run. And Rutgers does not have a dynamic pass game. With Gavin Wimsatt, and ultimately that really, an interception he threw for pick six really ended up turning the tide and the momentum of that game. So I was a little surprised Ohio State was number 1, but it was resume based, and I don't know if a road win in your league over a team that's already bowl eligible is going to be something that can be used against you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone behind them had an authoritative enough win. Now, maybe they think Georgia does because they beat the 13th team in the country. But I don't know if anyone behind them had an authoritative enough win to jump them. But I also think the committee doesn't like to be boring, right? So when they re-rank, they may factor in a few things and shuffle things around. But I can't see major changes coming.
Yeah, and we all know that the back of these schedules are like some of the biggest games that are going to be the difference makers on. Yeah, so I like your kind of mindset going in. You don't really think about these rankings holding too much weight because there's some big games coming up these next few weeks.
Yeah, no, I mean this is the time of year where it's great to work in our profession and to be a college football fan because the stakes are high. And what does Coach Corso say? November games are the ones you remember.
Are the games they remember?
Yeah, Coach Sweeney used to say it too. They remember November, so this is when the teams really turn it on. And then last thing we'll ask you, I know you're a busy man. Down the road with these conferences, obviously the Pac-12 kind of going to disappear after this year, which is crazy to hear. Even how great they're doing this year. So do you think eventually like the Big Ten and the SEC could be two NFC, AFC kind of conferences? Or do you think there's too much money in the conferences already?
Man, that's not exactly a light, breezy walk-off question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to hear it because
your opinions.
Yeah.
These were the best of times. These were the worst of times. What came first, the chicken or the egg? So I think going forward, I've called it, and I think it's sort of known in the industry as a power two, right? Now, that doesn't mean everyone else just gets frozen in some nuclear winter, but I do think the power follows the money, and the money is being driven there. Now, the conferences, and that's obviously the SEC and the Big Ten, the conferences that are not the SEC and the Big Ten are not going to fold, right? Especially now that the Pac-12 has dissipated. Those other leagues are going to exist, be competitive, have their own ecosystem, have their own TV contracts, etc. But I do think, especially with sort of the ability to backdoor pay players that NIL has given, that the power is going to follow the money. And I think over the next decade, we'll see more distinctly that. The ACC is going to have to shake itself out here in the next few years. You've heard saber rattling from Clemson. You've heard saber rattling from Florida State, louder at Florida State than Clemson. Whether those moves happen and when they happen will probably be decided in courts. And luckily I went to journalism school and not law school, so I don't have any predictions on exactly how that stuff is going to shake out. But I do think we are in an era of consolidation. I think that's probably the simplest way to put this. And the power is being consolidated as we speak and will continue to be consolidated. And there is, to me, nothing that is going to slow that consolidation.
You're the man,
awesome,
Pete.
Yeah. Tye, Jake, appreciate you guys having me. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Pete. Well, that was perfect timing. We're just getting into the Michigan-Penn State game there, and then Pete pops in, lets us know what's going on. So
I just learned a lot.
A lot of words.
That was awesome. Hope you guys learned a lot too.
We're just gonna shift gears to the NFL. There's some huge games this weekend. We had the Bills and the Bengals. We had the Chiefs.
And I was at that one. Let's slow down.
Yeah,
I was at the Bills Bengals game. I only stayed for the first half because my dad and I just came off of red eye a few hours prior, and we were getting a little. I had to fly. I drove back all the way to Columbus last night, so feeling good about it. But hey, that Bengals team might be all the way back. And the Bills are a great squad, but the Bengals just had their number that game. I don't even know who was making plays. Jamar Chase was making plays, but he wasn't getting any touchdowns. He had a lot of points. They're spreading the ball around. Yeah, they're spreading the ball around. It was fun to watch.
I love to see Joe sling.
Hard not to pull for the Bengals. Yeah, I know. When Joe's doing Joe things, it's fun to watch.
Chiefs Dolphins was played in Germany Sunday morning. That was a good way to start Sunday. We rolled out of bed after that red eye, like Jake mentioned. Chiefs got the dub. Dolphins, high octane offense, couldn't get it done. It looked like Patrick was a little disappointed in his performance there, even though they ended up with a win. But they'll get it figured out. That's a big win over the Dolphins. They're one of the best teams in all of the NFL right now. Cowboys Eagles. Another big one. I feel like these matchups are like playoff matchups. So we got really lucky this past weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Cowboys, Eagles. Eagles won. They now have the best record in the NFL with only one loss.
Eagles are really good at offense. Eagles. Everybody scored that's a starter on their team, I believe. So, like in terms of the skill positions, like everybody's getting the ball. They're gonna be hard to stop. They're definitely a contender.
Eagles are dogs. So
yeah.
They competed in it last year, and they'll definitely get a shot at it again this year. The Texans, C.J. Stroud against the Bucks.
Heartbreaker for Baker Mayfield here. Yeah, C.J. Stroud outdid himself with his performance. I think he had 450-plus yards passing. And
5 touchdown passes?
But I know Tank Dell and him have some kind of connection on that last drive. They went like 60 yards in 2 plays. Boom, boom. They had like 44 seconds.
Boom, 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 boom.
It was fun to watch. We might have a superstar in our hands right now.
Speaking of superstars, this running back, the Texans, their kicker got hurt.
Agunbowale, 7-year NFL veteran, normally a running back. The field goal attempt is good! Houston leads!
Shout out you, man. He's like backup for the backup, like running back, and they put him in there. I mean, we got to get this guy on College Game Day.
End over end. It was beautiful. Oh, yeah. That's about the same distance, huh?
Yeah, if he's trying to cash in some checks, I mean, just hop on Game Day.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to watch right there. Dude, it's cool seeing an athletic nothing against Justin Tucker here, but an athletic guy.
What do you mean by
back
that?
there kicking? It's fun to see.
Well, Justin Tucker is an athletic guy. I don't know what that was.
No, I know. I'm saying nothing against him, like in particular. Everyone else.
Yeah, he's a flexible son of a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from Justin Tucker, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Because he's
33.
He's an animal. Yeah.
Yeah. 33. I hope we see him again back there. That was fun to watch. I'm sure they pick up a kicker next week.
And then some fun news in the NFL here. Kyler Murray's coming back this weekend. And it's an interesting weekend. This new Call of Duty drops Friday, November 10th. And Kyler Murray is set to come back. In the past, he's had some issues with watching film and things like that because of Call of Duty. So this dude loves playing games.
Production, offensive production
Yeah.
is climbing, and then the date that the game
Call of
comes
Duty
out,
hits. Yeah.
it starts going like that on the other end. It's
It's
a thing to see. But hopefully he's got the gaming out of his system beforehand. I don't know. But he might be fiending like us for this new Call of Duty. So keep an eye out.
I think he might be good this week, but then next week he might be in trouble because like the only game comes out on Friday, so he comes back 2 days after the game comes out. I don't think he'll have too much knowledge of what's going on out there on the field with that new Call of Duty coming out. That's all I'm gonna say. He's a baller.
If we want to get really aggressive, give these guys a little taste in the football talk section about what the game section is like. There is like a weekly attachment that you get to unlock, and you can only unlock it in a certain week time span, or it's gone forever until the month ends.
Oh yeah.
So that might be a problem for Kyler because he's gonna be like, I gotta get this attachment, or I'm gonna fucking
I'm gonna need that. Yeah, I'm gonna need that. Am I watching film or am I getting?
I'm thinking I'm getting into it.
I'm thinking I'm getting it. Bro's not getting left behind in Call of Duty. Let's just say that. This is the NBA update, aka the Wemby update. 38 points against the Suns last week. Durant was giving him props in an interview after the game.
When he raised up and shot the ball, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be close to this. So I'm just going to play hard and contest, man, because either you're going to foul him or he's just going to make the shot. He not going. He misses all on him. Yeah, so he's different, man. He's different.
But then again, like he also is like one of us. Like he dressed up for Halloween, like Slenderman. I was like,
Slenderman?
There's a video game.
Dude, it's our generation getting active.
And then he said
here.
Star Wars. He likes the prequels. I was so pumped about it. Like,
yeah.
We have to address him on the show. A weekly update on Wemby.
And then one other thing I wanted to say about the Wemby update, or the NBA actually. There's this mid-season tournament that's happening this year that like everyone's confused about. Like if you see these interviews, like all these players, they're like Damian Lillard got interviewed and he was like, yeah, man, I got no idea what's going on. Like, I guess we're playing like a tournament like mid-season. Like the guys are just confused. They're like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, it's weird.
What's the experience been like so far playing in the tournament game?
It's weird because the energy, you can tell it's like something is happening, but it's new, so I'm not really sure what the hell is going on. Like what? I don't really know what's going on, so.
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know how it works. I don't know anything, honestly.
All right, Jake. The time has come.
No, it hasn't.
The end of the sports section. Freak of the week. Freak of the week.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Freak of the week. Jake, who's your guy?
Let me pull up this motherfucker. Dylan Johnson. Right. I said him earlier in the show. He's at Washington running back. He put up 4 tutties. He was running. He was gunning. I mean, he wasn't gunning, but he was running, and it was fun to watch. He's really good at football, so he's my freak of the week for sure. All right, you go.
Let's go. All right, guys. That's a great freak week out of you, but I think I got you beat this week. We mentioned him earlier as well. Jalen Milroe. 4 tutties rushing. Are you kidding me? As a quarterback and passing leader? I mean, I was talking about that little burst. Bro.
Yeah.
It's not human. It's so cool to watch. It's fun to see a quarterback or a running back play quarterback. That's pretty much what's going on in Alabama there.
He ran straight at the gut and put a safety on his ass too. It was pretty fun to watch that part too.
Yeah, Jalen Miller was running the ball in Alabama, and he happened to throw the ball a little bit as well at quarterback. It's a freak. Yeah. Freak. All right. Time to move on to the movie talk section of the show. I love movies. All right. Yes. Movies we've seen recently, gentlemen.
All right. I watched Talladega Nights, directed by Adam McKay. A NASCAR superstar, Ricky Bobby, at the top of his game, adored by fans, a trophy wife by his side, and incredible wealth. But Ricky loses it when French F1 champ Dean Gerard roars into the scene. Ricky, with the help of his ruthless father, must pull himself out of the depths of despair and restore his honor on the racetrack. Oh, baby. Wow. I'll tell you what. That was a great little recap right there.
This one, huh?
Yeah, check this one out. I really have to think when I'm watching these, and I just kind of wanted to, take a back seat and enjoy Ricky Bobby's glory.
Great couples costume this past Halloween. I saw a lot of those. Did that inspire you to watch that? Or
somebody interviewed Christopher Nolan. He's like, "What's your favorite movie of all time?" And that's not your own movie. And he said, Talladega Nights. Shake and bake, baby. He's like,
shake and bake, baby.
He said, if you ain't first, you're last.
If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase is trademark, not to use that position to Ricky Bobby.
So, yeah, I had to watch it. Will Ferrell's in this one. John C. Reilly, supporting actor. Leslie Bibb, looking real nice as the wife of Ricky Bobby at the beginning of this one. My man Sacha Baron Cohen, who's the guy most well known for being Borat in his comedy specials where he impersonates some guy from Kazakhstan. He plays Gene Gerard.
He's so good.
Yeah. They really lean into his I will do anything for a laugh comedy, and Will Ferrell's right there with him, so it's perfect. Talladega Nights, let's talk about it. You got to remember the humble beginnings of Ricky Bobby. In this one, I mean, it starts off in a flashback scene with him and his dad, where he learns this famous quote, "If you ain't first, you're last."
Dad! Don't listen to these people, Ricky. You're a winner. You got the gift. Always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
If you ain't first, you're last.
See you when you're grown up.
Dad! Come back!
And that's what he lives by. Starts out in a pit crew, and he's just with his buddy John C. Reilly, and somehow the racer that's in his crew can't race, and Ricky Bobby's like, I'll hop in. It was very Forrest Gump-esque, and he goes in and he wins the race and he dominates, and then it all accelerates from there. That's when he has all the good times, and then it has the downfall. But Will Ferrell's hilarious in his he'll go so far to sell a bit. he has PTSD basically, and he crashes and he gets
a lot of riffing in that movie out of him.
Yes, I know.
City we built in my basement of a city, an urban environment.
I think he really tries hard to make the other people laugh that's around him, and
that's his goal,
yeah,
bro. Yeah, that's his goal.
Definitely
that's hilarious.
But yeah, it's just a fun story about stereotypes in this NASCAR world that not a lot of people know about. Kind of gives you a fun satiric look into that world, and there's a fun little family dynamic story involved, and yeah, it's just an enjoyable one. You just want to throw it on.
What's your rating on this one?
I think it's just a 4. It's just a solid 4.
I was going to say 4 too. I've seen it before. Jake has too. It's just a little rewatch for the kid.
Yeah, I do want to say in comparison, because this one you have to compare to Step Brothers with John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell also in together. I think Step Brothers is far and above this one, in my opinion.
I watched Old Dads. It's got Billy Burr in it. That's why I clicked on it. He never really misses, in my opinion. It was a fun watch. I mean, kind of stereotypical of him, where he's gets into the woke culture a little bit, and he's kind of not a fan. But he navigates his way through there, and he makes some funny points in there. It has the guy from Mall Cop, the bad guy, the army guy from Mall Cop. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun to just throw on if you're bored. I'll probably give it like a 3.5. It wasn't anything special. I just wanted to briefly mention that I watched that. Bill Burr's always great. And I love when he like goes off on somebody. Like he like gets really pissed at this principal lady.
Is there like a problem here, miss?
Well, if you'd actually read the school guidebook, I wouldn't have to tell you anything.
I read the guidebook. All right, you stumpy little...
That was probably the best moment, and it was early on. And then the rest of it, I was like, I'll just watch to watch, pretty much. It's kind of one of those you turn on. Like I'm typically not a guy to be on my phone during a movie, but this is like kind of a phone like in the background kind of movie. All right, guys. Now we're getting into the big brain movie of the week. I watched No Country for Old Men. I've watched it probably like 3 times within the past like year. Just like because I love it so much. It's directed by the Coen brothers. They're known for Fargo, if you've seen that, Jake. It's like the one out in the snow up in Minnesota. They did The Big Lebowski. I've actually never seen that, but I'm going to have to turn that on eventually. Everyone loves that one and has it in like some of their top movies. No Country for Old Men. Set in the desert landscape of the 1980s Texas, No Country for Old Men is adapted from Cormac McCarthy's novel of the same exact name. It's a gritty, suspenseful crime drama that interweaves the paths of a hunter who stumbles upon a drug deal gone wrong, a relentless hitman, and a wary sheriff. I mean, the acting in this, 10 out of 10. One of the best bad guys of all time, in my opinion. Anton Chigurh, played by Javier Bardem. His character in this has the bangs, and he gives a chilling performance. He won an Academy Award for this role as Best Supporting Actor.
Oscar goes to Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men.
As I said, one of the best bad guys, just because he's such a capable villain, and he knows like how to operate in every situation, it feels like, and he's so tactical. There's one scene in particular where he walks in this motel and he's kind of getting like the lay of the land. And this movie's great at like letting the audience kind of digest what's going on. They don't like tell you straight out what's happening. So you can like pick up on some Easter eggs. Like he walked into this motel room and Josh Brolin's character, who I'll talk about later, he's in another motel room that has like the same setup. And he's kind of like seeing how thick the wall is, seeing if he can shoot through it, things like that. He takes his shoes off so you can't hear him when he walks. It's almost like a horror movie, bro. And then one thing I'll say about him as well, he's motivated by like fate and like determinism. It's like he's kind of like a Joker character. Like he loves being bad. Just a crazy concept for a human being. Like you believe this guy's real. And even his weapon of choice is very interesting as well. As I mentioned, Josh Brolin, he is Llewellyn Moss. This dude's a badass. He's a Nam veteran, who I think he's one of the most interesting characters in like all of cinema, where he is super proficient at surviving and getting away from like trouble. Like he knows how to patch himself up. He knows how to saw off a shotgun. He knows how to hide the money. And then he's also a great shot, which you can see early on when he's like hunting deer. And then we got Tommy Lee Jones, famous actor here. He's the old man in the title here. And he's just kind of fed up with like how brutal and just these times are. Like it's a lot different than his day. And then Woody Harrelson makes a brief entry, and he's like a rival hitman of Javier as Carson Wells. And he's a badass as well, and like interesting character. There's a lot of great characters in this movie. I just had to touch on them. And then camera work cinematography shows off the Texas landscape, a lot of wide shots, but then that's also mixed with some close-up shots, especially on Javier, the bad guy, which kind of makes you feel like a little claustrophobic and like uncomfortable. And this movie's great at building tension. Like I mentioned earlier, it felt like a horror movie in some scenes. Like there's so much silence and there's so much like thinking going on in your brain as the viewer, which like makes it really fun to watch. There could be no dialogue for like 10 minutes, and you're just like kind of dissecting what's going on.
Moments, and it's so cool.
Yeah, and that leads me right into the soundtrack. It's pretty much non-existent. Like you sit with silence a lot in this, and silence is a great builder of tension. And it's mostly like diegetic sound, which I learned in my film class, which is like what the actors can hear. So you'll hear like a gun reload, or you'll hear like a flip switch. Now, one thing that the Coen brothers do very well in their movies is there's multiple storylines. That makes a great story when there's multiple things going on at once. So right in this movie, I'll just give you layman's terms right here. There's the guy who found the money. There's the bad guy who wants the money. And then he also has ulterior motives, just because he's a psychopath. And then there's the good guys trying to find the bad guy who's killing all these people, in his wake. Some of my favorite scenes and memorable moments / some spoilers, you're warned here. Dude, the coin toss scene, it had that dude from Killers of the Flower Moon, the chubby guy, and he's like, what am I flipping for? I gotta know what I'm flipping for. And yeah, dude, this is the master at work right here when this Chigger guy, Javier, this is when you really get dialed in on this character, and you're like, this guy is out of his fucking mind. I mentioned the motel scene earlier. That was a great display of proficiency from both sides, taking the shoes off, tiptoeing, he has the silencer on his shotgun, he's looking at the walls. And then, dude, there was a cool sequence there. It stole from Silence of the Lambs. At the end of Silence of the Lambs, I don't know if you remember, the lady goes to Buffalo Bill's house, and then the FBI is surrounding the house, and they're about to go in and bust him. But then you figure out that it's actually just her at the house by herself, and the FBI raided a different house.
Clarice.
And in this movie, you got Brolin's character, trying to hide the money in this vent, and then you cut back and forth with Javier, walking slowly to his door. You think it's his door, and then he opens it up, but it's another one of the rooms, and Josh Brolin's character is able to get away. I thought that was great, and if we ever make a movie one day, be ready to see one of those kind of scenes where you subvert expectations of the audience. I thought it was a masterclass right there.
The theme of fate in this one is just throughout it.
Yeah,
and that's a beautiful thing. One guy that Bong Joon-ho is a guy that's just like that has that fate kind of stuff in his movies. I love that. That kind of theme in a movie is it's a beautiful thing, and this one does it well. All right, let's rate this one.
All right, let me rate this kid. I got to give this thing a 4.9. I'm not giving it a 5, just because it's a little slow in some parts, but it's really close. It's right on the edge for me. It's one of my favorite movies.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm already this might be my first 5. Yeah, it's a big deal.
I might have to upgrade to a 5 as well. No. I think I want to upgrade it. I want to upgrade to a 5 if you're going.
Well, you
5.
said there was something wrong with it. I don't find anything wrong with it personally. I think it is what it is. I think it's beautiful.
Well, I just said that because Jake hates when I give movies 5s because he never gives 5s, and so I'm trying to be.
I didn't have any nitpick. I don't have
my nitpick during the whole talk though.
You just said it was long.
4.9 just to not be.
You said
5.
it was too slow. I thought it was perfectly paced.
2 5s on the board for No Country for Old Men. Shout out, Big Brain Movie of the Week.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that one to the show, Ty. I needed that one.
Yeah.
All right.
There's some movies coming soon that are really exciting. So Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is coming out May 24th.
Oh, baby.
I mean, look at Caesar on the back of this horse with a hawk on his arm. Dude, this guy's he's going to be phenomenal in this movie.
I only watched 3 seconds of this just to make sure it was the same series, and as soon as I saw the segment or the I don't know, what do you call that?
You saw the teaser?
As soon as I saw the monkeys, I was all right, we're good. I got the fuck up out of there.
Should we watch the little teaser? It's like a minute.
No,
I think we should pull it up.
I purposely just.
I kind of want to see it though. Like, I think the people want to see us see it as well. I think we should do it.
I sleep. I see strange things.
Who's talking?
Memories?
Is it James Franco or is he still on?
Not memories.
It's looking good.
New things.
Hell yeah, boy.
I see everything.
Is this Assassin's Creed?
Bro, literally, bro.
That is not
straight from Assassin's Creed.
Everything.
Oh, they can talk now? They can fly now.
Bro.
What?
They've been talking, dog.
Am I thinking weird?
Yeah, I thought they missed.
I'm gonna have to rewatch all 3. So now there's just like rival gangs.
I think humans are primitive now, and they're the main species of the planet. I think that's what's going on.
Makes sense. Well, that's from like Spaceballs.
Yeah, that's the that's the original.
Yeah, the original one.
Being on the planet of the Apes.
Right, that looks like a good bad guy. Just briefly right there.
Cool. Yeah, Caesar's a weapon, so I love that kind of stuff.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to hop into this one too. The Fall Guy, it's a Ryan Gosling movie coming out March 1st. I just wanted to say for all the TikTok members on here, get ready for a lot of Ryan Gosling memes coming up. As people say, it's a new personality unlocked. People love doing the Ryan Gosling, like me. He just plays himself in every movie, and Emma Blunt, who's John Krasinski's wife, is also in it. So, two big ones right there. Two good actress combo. So I'll check it out. March 1. So
could be good.
And then Deadpool 3 comes out coming up. Release date May 4th. We've been waiting on this one for a long time. May the 4th be with you. But yeah, we might be checking this one out on that day. So, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman. Apparently, it's a like kind of spinoff for like adding to the end of Logan. Never saw Logan, but I heard it was good. It got all like those. Oh, I feel like it got some awards for that one.
Do you have to watch all the other Wolverine movies?
We'll just watch Logan. Just watch Logan.
We'll watch Logan.
So we'll give that one a try.
Guys watch it too. Okay.
Yeah. One extra thing I want to talk about. I know we're getting into a lot of movies out here. Kung Fu Panda 4 is coming soon. It'll come in 2024. I mean, these are all-time movies in the theater. It's just a great popcorn movie. We love Jack Black on the show, and we'll definitely be supporting it in the theaters. So,
oh my god, I watched the original Kung Fu Panda the other day, and it was an all-timer. It's got so many lines, and it's actually a great story. It was so good.
I know. It's like, why don't we make these anymore, dude? Hey, we've been waiting on this Kung Fu Panda for a while. We've been waiting for this thing.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. Covered a lot of stuff. Had a lot of fun, though. Thank you, Pete, for joining us. Shout out, Pete.
Pete, you did a great job. And thanks for sticking around to the end if you did. Please like and subscribe. It helps us out greatly and tremendously. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
That would be phenomenal. GG's.